All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Gangrene Eagle Show here on the Ring the Bell Network. John's like shocked there wasn't like some kind of opening. That's because I couldn't
Yeah,
find
I'm
it.
freaking. I was like, holy shit, I wasn't
It's
ready to
a
go.
neither was I. I was like, where the hell did my opening go? And I can't find it, but I wasn't going to waste any more time. But look, I'm Christy Francesco. That's John McElroy. John, man, what a weekend for I mean, basically, okay, Thursday into Saturday for the Eagles. They had 9 picks of the 257 total. They set an NFL record. They made 8 trades during the 2024 draft, tied for the most draft day trades by a team since 1990. The 2018 Patriots and 2023 Texans also both made 8. So it was a historic weekend for the Eagles. And like you just said in Gorilla right before we hit the record button, like I don't think there's a single problem I have with any of these draft picks. And to kind of get started, and then I'll go to you for your opinion on the whole thing. What was so great about this draft is we heard for a week that the Eagles and Howie Roseman specifically was the most active general manager working the phone to try to trade up because of how the draft was, supposed to line up. I don't think the Eagles expected, nor did the NFL. I believe the first 15 picks of the draft were offensive players, which is a record, right? Which means all of those defensive studs just dropped. It got to a point, John, or it, just was what it was, that by the time that it got to the Eagles at 22, they had the pick of the litter. Whatever defensive player they wanted, they could have gotten. And I believe they picked the best one, although my favorite guy was Arnold. But then I have said before, if they nail Mitchell, man, I'm just like, okay, cool. I'm over the moon for either
Dude,
guy.
he's a freaking
He's
freak.
an animal. Yeah. And the only thing I liked more about Arnold was that he's a better tackler, and this is an Eagles team that can't tackle. But other than that, I think Mitchell was. I mean, I think it was even said by ESPN. I think Fox even put something out that it was the best steal of the draft. Like it was the best value pick
Yeah,
of the
Matt Miller.
entire
Yeah, Matt
draft.
Miller just said that his favorite pick in the
Is
whole.
that what he said, Matt Miller? Okay.
Yeah,
Just an outstanding. It was a can't miss pick. I'm so jacked that he's part of this team now, and a team that desperately needed secondary help, and he's going to provide that instantly. So I'm going to go to you. The floor is yours here. What were your thoughts on this entire draft? What would you grade Howie's work here? Just your overall thoughts going into it and
yeah,
how
you
it
got an
worked
A.
out.
You got an A.
Yeah.
I know. I wanted a corner. I really wanted Chop Robinson. He went right before the Eagles thing. I thought
Yeah.
he'd have been a great replacement for Reddick, but it happens. You don't get them, but they needed defensive back help. They had one of the worst secondaries in football last year, and they went out and got Mel Kiper's top 2 rated cornerbacks in the draft. So that's there alone. I agree with most people. I think uh, the Gene is going to be a safety because I can see it going down this year. He's probably not going to start. He'll probably do kick returns and play a bunch of special teams. Maddox due for an injury. They're going to move
Yes.
C.J. Gardner-Johnson right into the back into the slot, and they're going to put Gene at safety. And he's never going to leave there. And Johnson will probably play the rest of his career as an Eagle in the slot, most likely, I would assume. And then Bradbury's gone. I don't see where he fits on this team anymore. I mean, you can't cut Ringo. He's only his second year. You got to at least give him a chance, see what he can do. And he's a great physical attacker. You can't get rid of him. Rodgers you
Yeah.
signed, so I don't see them cutting Rodgers. He's still young too. And then you're gonna let Mitchell sit for a year behind
No.
Bradbury, or wait a
No.
few, wait
I
5 weeks
think.
and realize that Bradbury sucks, and you got to put him in there now. No, just he's
Yeah, I
there's
thought right
nothing.
away Mitchell was replacing Bradbury for week 1. There's no doubt in my mind.
I love the everybody loves this edge rusher. I really don't know much about him. I know he went to Cornell for a couple years and was a defensive back there, and then when he went to Houston, was it Houston Christian, he transferred to an edge rusher, so that's probably why he was a 3rd-round pick and not a top-round pick. But everybody's saying it's what Mel Kiper said, it's his favorite edge rusher in the whole draft. Everybody
Mhm.
says they love it. The funny thing is, the thing the Eagles do best probably out of any team in football is they can draft and develop offensive linemen,
For
and
sure.
everybody's least favorite picks were their offensive linemen. But and loved everything they said. I mean, Johnny Wilson, he
Yep.
He's 6'6" or 6'7", whatever, 230 pounds. You can't teach size. He does have a
Nope.
dropping problem, so he might get Nelson Aguilar flashbacks at some point, but everybody loves the pick. There's like just something you can't teach about. He's a 4'2", 4'5'2" guy, in his 40. He 6'7". I mean, dude, that's going to be if he can pan out and be something, he can be a huge resident target. He could possibly convert to the tight end position, which that could be a possibility. They didn't draft a tight end. Everybody thought they were going to because this is about
Yeah.
the time
Yeah.
Zach
It's
Ertz,
about the time. Mhm.
Dallas Goedert they got the replacement for Zach Ertz. So could this be a guy they want to turn into a tight end instead of wide receiver for him being so big? Um, the running back Will Shipley, he had 1,200 yards in each of the last 3 years at Clemson. He's
Mhm.
obviously a great player, probably better than Gainwell. Probably
I
will see
agree.
less than Gainwell this year, just with the Barkley signing. But it's gives them depth, something that they don't have because they lost Penny. They even though he sucked, they lost him. They lost Boston Scott, even though he sucked.
Yeah.
It's just, but they added depth to that position. They added linebacker depth with shockingly Trotter fell. I thought he was going to be a second, third round pick, but he fell to the fifth round. But it just shows you that it's just the
Why
same
did
with
he
Nakobe
drop
Dean.
so far?
It's his size. He's 6 foot, 100, 230 pounds. He's Nakobe Dean size. I mean, Nakobe Dean's a little shorter, but he's not his dad. His dad was 6'4" or 6'1",
Yeah. Trot
2
Senior was a machine.
275. Like he was
Yeah.
huge. Like he's just not
Mhm.
the prototypical size you
Yeah.
wanted a linebacker, and I believe running the football is going to start coming back in this league, and you're going to need big physical linebackers. You're not going to be able to do these small coverage linebackers as much.
No, for
So
sure. And
it
oh,
brings depth. They need depth in that position, which it's great pickup. It's a legacy guy. Um, he knows how the city is. He'll know how to handle a lot of the stress. His dad's
mhm.
there to help him, and it's just this is probably where he wanted to go. But
For
he also
sure.
came. I think John Clark came out and said that they just didn't expect the Eagles to draft him at all. He just didn't expect to go to the Eagles
Mhm.
because I'm assuming it's because he knows the Eagles don't value linebacker, and he just didn't think he was going to go there. So, but overall,
Well,
they had some. It was a really good draft.
for sure. And I look at this way, Howie did exactly what they usually always do lately on draft weekend. They come away with a physical and athletic class. There are players that I believe will quickly fit into the Eagles' way of doing business, of their system. You got rookie mini camp coming up fast. So if you look at like the grades of around the media. NFL.com gave them an A. ESPN gave them an A. Bleacher Report A plus. CBS A. Fox A. Pro Football Focus said they had the best draft of any team in the league.
The Gene and Mitchell were the everybody's steals of the draft. Like they think the Eagles absolutely stole Mitchell in the first round, and they
Agreed.
definitely. So I remember telling my dad, I'm like, if you get to pick 40 and the Gene is not there, you got to give up both those draft picks so you can go get them. They got a third round pick out of it too, which was great, and they added a third round pick next year, I believe, and a fifth round pick next year, and they had 3 picks next year in the draft. Like that, what he did, he knows what he's doing, trading draft picks and getting that. He knows that. I just hope these picks hit, and it's like you can't trash him on the corner picks because when he takes a corner, it's a third, fourth, fifth round, sixth round guy. We've never seen Howie Roseman take 2 corners this early in the draft, so it's going to be interesting to see how that process goes. And guess what? If Mitchell sucks and Arnold's good, we're gonna get laughed at again. If the Gene sucks, the Gene sucks, and we're gonna get laughed at again because guess who went after him? Kool-Aid Matrisky went after him too. So it could be another laughing stock situation, which I pray doesn't happen. But these are the guys I wanted. They be on defensive back. These are the guys I wanted. One of these 2 guys. I wanted Arnold too, and I wanted Kool-Aid. So I would have been fine with all 4 of those. Um, it's like it's like we wanted a cornerback for years in the first years, and we finally got one.
Look, I mean, shit happens if one player turns out better than the other. Like that's not how this works. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it just happens.
yeah.
So I just don't think Mitchell's going to be a miss. I really just
No,
don't think so.
he's physical. He's strong.
Yeah.
Um, and I hate that everybody's saying the Senior Bowl doesn't matter. They don't try. These guys 100% tried the Senior Bowls. That's why Mitchell flew up the draft board because of the Senior Bowl. That's why a lot of these players fly. It's because you're actually playing for the first time against NFL level talent,
Hmm.
and you're actually not. It's not like you're playing against those 17, 18, 19, 20-year olds. You're not NFL ready yet, like during the regular season, and he played pretty well in the Senior Bowl against Marvin Harrison. I know 2 years ago he got absolutely smoked by Marvin Harrison Jr. But I mean that was 2 years ago. It's a new year. He played well against Senior Bowl. That's why he went up. Same with the with Hunt. He played absolutely. He stood out at the Senior Bowl. And don't tell me these guys don't try. They want to get drafted, and they're trying to prove themselves against NFL talent for the actual first time.
No, I agree with you. Just also a quick little update here. It's actually just happened about an hour ago. The Eagles
What
signed
happened during the
offensive
show?
tackle. What's it? Mekhi Becton, a former first round.
Mackay Becton.
Mackay.
I
I'm
think that's
sorry.
how you say it.
I think it's Mackay. I would go with that. Mackay Becton, a former first round draft pick of the New York Jets. Looks like he reported by Adam Schefter. It's going to be a 1-year deal worth up to $5.5 million. Apparently, the signing was greatly encouraged by Eagles offensive line coach Jeff Stoutland, the Jeff Stoutland. And this is, of course, pending a physical.
He's a good player. He's just hurt all the time.
Yeah, 6'7", started 16 games last season, which is, again, it's an accomplishment. He missed 33 out of 34 games in 21 and 22 due to 2 surgeries on his right knee. So the fact that he did play 16 games last year is pretty big.
And he's not coming in here expecting to be the starter. He's probably going to learn a little more.
$5.5 million, no risk,
like, 25
highest
years old?
reward.
What's he, like 25, 26 years old? He's still a young guy, and who knows, You plug him in there at guard, and freaking maybe he becomes an all-pro guard, or
You never. Hey, dude, the way it's a factory. They're an offensive line factory.
I hate to say it. Lane Johnson, something happens where he misses some time. You put him in there at right tackle, and then you're like, holy shit, we don't need Lane Johnson anymore. That's what happened with Jason Peters. Mulatto went in there, and it was.
Yeah, you're right. So I mean,
we never look back. It's.
Look, they needed to bolster the offensive line. They lost Driscoll. They lost Opeta in free agency. And again, like you just said, Lane Johnson's going to turn 34 next month. In a couple days it turns May. So he's going to be 34 years old. There was talk that the Eagles would take a tackle as high as the first round of the draft, which a lot of us, I actually thought going into draft day on Thursday night that the Eagles are going to trade into the top 15 to get an offensive tackle.
Yeah, I thought they were going to go.
I really thought they were going to do it.
They were going to do edge rusher or tackle, man.
Right.
That's just what they do.
But again,
screw it off at all. They passed up on a corner again and drafted an edge rusher or tackle.
But the board just didn't fall that way. So yeah, I really do think this could be a great move. He was drafted 11th overall by the Jets in 2020. Obviously a roller coaster career so far. Just a huge amount of his career thus far has been wiped out by injuries, but I guess you can call it a great comeback campaign in 2023. But yeah, man, he's 25 years old. He's dropped 50 pounds. He reported to camp last summer at about 350 pounds. He won the right tackle job. So, this is a guy that seems to be incredibly motivated. So that's great news for the Eagles moving forward. But kind of going back to the draft, like we said, the Ringer gave him an A+, USA Today an A, Associated Press an A. Dude, like the New York Press gave him an A, or New York Post. Like it was undoubtedly one of the best drafts on paper that I think Howie Roseman has had.
It's like besides their linemen, everybody loved every pick that they took, but for some reason, most of the people didn't love the linemen they drafted. But the one guy was a 3-year starter at Michigan, who great offensive lineman. I tell you, this guy can't play football.
Trevor Keegan, you're talking about.
Yeah, get out of here. Like I played at Michigan. They went to 2 national championships, won one, college playoff and all. Like, get out of here. And they had one of the best offense lines in college football. And you're telling me he's not a good player,
right? And
you're telling me Stallin's going to develop him into a good player.
Exactly. Yeah, and look, I'll be honest. Like outside of Mitchell and DeJean, I think my favorite pick by far is Will Shipley, that running back out of Clemson. If you watch his highlights, you watch his grades. I think he's a playmaker. He's a really good player. I was
special teams guy. I'm assuming
for sure.
Well, I mean, Brent Covey will never see that guy again. I'm telling you right now, because the gene's going to be the punt returner. There's no question. I mean, he was the best punt returner the past 2 years in college football. So it's like, and he's not 5'6" like Covey. Yeah. So that guy's gone. I mean, and then he's going to probably do kick returns too, and probably Shipley on kick returns too. So it's going to be real. Like they're going to be. they didn't just get better on defense or offense; they got better on special teams too with these guys. I mean, you're gonna see the Gene a lot on special teams this year. So I don't think he's gonna get right away in the start, and they're gonna, they still have Slay, and Plank's not a terrible player, but I don't think right away you're gonna see him start. I think it's just gonna, Maddox is still there. It's they still have guys that are veterans that are good players there. So I don't, but he's gonna light it up on special teams this year. I think.
I agree, and I kind of want to now take this back a little bit with Mitchell coming into the fold now. Just how incredible and how quickly, like Harry Roseman has really rebuilt
fast and athletic
this secondary,
man. Really fast and really athletic with these young guys that they just drafted.
Yeah, for sure. It started with CGJ coming back. 26 years old, gets a big deal from the Eagles. He was a huge piece in that run to the Super Bowl in 2022. And then you look at the arrival of Isaiah Rodgers after his 1-year suspension. Who cares about gambling? Just bring him back on the Eagles. And then it got really good. Then you go out and get Quinyon Mitchell, the best cornerback, I think, overall by far in the draft. He just fell into the Eagles' lap at 22. And then another.
He benched 20
I know.
times to 20. That's what impressed me the most. There's not many quarterbacks who can do that.
He's a strong bull, that guy, man. Then you go another first-round draft pick drops to number 40. The Eagles trade up to get the 40 to get Cooper DeJean. Dude, I'm telling you, I could not believe he dropped to 40.
I told you yesterday, if he keeps dropping, why don't you? I said to you that on Friday night, and then said to my dad watching the draft, and he's still not going to think they were at pick 35, and I'm like, Dad, like if they get to 40 and the Gene's is not gone, I would trade up and get it, and they did. And even Zach, your brother, came over before the draft on Friday night, and he was like, oh, I want the Gene. And I feel like a lot of people wanted the Gene, so a lot of people they want to. They wanted them in the first. They wanted the Eagles to get them in the first round. Nobody thought they were going to get them in the second round and get.
Yep.
Mitchell too. So people are.
It's wild because it's clear, and I'm happy because sometimes there's a disconnect between fan base, media, and then the actual teams in terms of what a team really needs. It was very abundantly clear what the goal of the offseason was by Howie Roseman, and that was to bolster that entire defense, and more importantly, the secondary. By the end of last year, the Eagles' pass defense was abominable. It was as if you put Madden on rookie and you were the offense and you could throw against that defense, right?
Last year.
The Eagles finished last year ranked 31st in pass defense, allowing an opposing passer rating of about 98, third worst in franchise history. That was only behind years 2012 and 2020, which just happened to be the 2 seasons that got the Eagles head coach fired. Somehow Sirianni survived that. They became only the 8th team in NFL history to allow at least 35 touchdown passes and intercept fewer than 10 passes in a season. Dude, it was embarrassing. They looked old. They were slow. Maybe because they are old and slow, but not anymore.
Slay had a pretty good year.
I don't like Slay at all.
You don't like him, but I think
he can't tackle. He can't tackle. He can't read a deep ball.
He doesn't want to tackle.
Yeah.
He had overall. In the NFL. He didn't have a horrible year. He had a pretty good. Bradbury was just.
Bradbury.
There was times you're like, why is everybody trashing Bradbury? He's actually having a pretty good year. Then next week later, he has a horrible game, and then they'll come back and they'll shut some guy down. Then it's horrible again. It's just he had an up and down year, and he's a guy who's going to get cut by the Eagles. He's going to go sign somewhere else. He's going to become an all-pro again and get another huge contract, just like he did with the Giants, just like he did with the Eagles. He's just going to go somewhere. And that's how his career gets that contract, because he has an all-pro season, and then he just kind of sucks after that.
Look, I think Roseman proved in this draft what the goal was, and that was to get secondary help. And I think it's to get secondary help who can play right away. And I say that because since 2010, Roseman's first year as general manager, the Eagles have had 28 defensive backs start at least 10 games. Only 6 of the 28 were Eagles draft picks. Nate Allen sucks. Jalen Mills sucks. Avonte Maddox, good, but hurt a lot. Kurt Coleman sucks. Rasul Douglas was okay.
Rasul Douglas' issue was Schwartz didn't like him, and Schwartz didn't play him here, but he's gone and had success elsewhere because that was just a flaw on the coaching staff on that one.
Right. And until Thursday, the Eagles hadn't used a top 40 pick on a defensive back since Nate Allen, number 37, back in 2010. So, with Mitchell going at 22, DeJean at 40. This is the first time in franchise history that they took 2 DBs in the first 40 picks. They're the 10th NFL team in the last 30 years to do that. So, the focus when the draft begun was to load up on young, versatile, fast defensive backs, physical defensive backs, guys that can tackle. And damn, dude, I'm pretty sure they accomplished all of that.
Yeah, once his name can tackle a little bit, he looks like there's not a guy who benches 225 20 times. He's not a physical person. Like he's gonna want to tackle and he's gonna want to hit. I think we're fine there. And then Gene, obviously, you can see with him. I mean, you can see that he's a tackler just on the tape. Like every time they show highlights of him, he's in there tackling. He's a physical player, and he's gonna be the safety. He'll be a safety. I don't think he's gonna be a corner, but if it turns out they're both great corners, that's
of course.
still,
that's great.
That works, yeah.
That's a win-win.
I think he's gonna be a safety. So
it's great when you have that versatility, though. When you have that option, yeah. I mean, look, Slay's 33. He's playing okay. He's playing pretty well, But then you have 30-year-olds Kevin Byard and Bradbury are obviously far from their prime. They were the only.
Still got paid though. He still
of course. They were only the second NFC team in the last 20 years, dude, with 3 30-year-old defensive backs starting at least 10 games. So
because it was weird, they actually got younger last year, except for defensive back. Really, they actually got a lot younger. But
right.
But this year, who knows? I mean, they're just.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited to see them at minicamp, at rookie minicamp. I can't wait to actually see, video and hear reports of how they are in the field. I mean, I know I won't listen to anything that Elliott Short-Bark says because I'm sure, he's going to say they all suck because he didn't want Mitchell at 22. So he's automatically going to just rip into the guy because he's a piece of shit. But other than that,
he's one of I actually love him because he's one of the guys. God. It's not.
He's never right.
Never right, and then he gets thrown back in his face. And I don't know how he has a job. I guess
because it's a hot take world, and he's very good at hot. That's why Joe Giulio exists. That's why these guys are there because hot takes make you and I want to call the radio station and drive him crazy.
But it's so funny when he goes on the afternoon show, man, and Ike just rips him apart like every day. Because Ike just knows he's wrong. He just rips him. But he's like, yeah, there's no word they're not drafting a tackle. So he thought they were going to draft a tackle the whole time. He's like, he said it all years. They were going to draft a tackle. They were going to draft a tackle. And he's wrong again.
Yeah, it's just great. Just a hack. All right. So before we get out of here, man, I know you said an A earlier, but who do you see out of this draft class, I guess, other than the top 2, making an immediate impact in 2024?
Mitchell.
I said outside of the top 2, which is who they did. The first 2 draft picks, I think, are going to be starting week 1. They're going to be playing.
I think if this Johnny Wilson doesn't drop as many passes, I think you could see him there playing wide receiver.
I think Will Shipley has a very big impact right away.
I think he has a special teams impact. I think he's going to be.
That's what I mean. With Saquon there, he's not going to get a whole lot of chances.
I want to say Hunt. How do you say his first name? Is it Jalix?
I guess I haven't even tried to say it.
I don't know how. I don't want to say it wrong. Like I feel like I don't want to. Is it Jalix but I think he has a possibility. I just don't think he's NFL ready yet. I think he needs a year of development, Fangio and stuff like that. I think he's going to be a process player, so I wouldn't expect too much from him right away. But there's also that possibility he's a free guy. I don't know what they're going to do with him. It's just a weird thing, because he probably can play linebacker. It's like he could play the inside linebacker. I mean, he has coverage skills and everything, and he has edge rushes. He could be. He looks for another one of those versatile players too that we don't know what we're going to get from, what we're going to see. He's like, so I want to say him, but I just don't think that's the next year. That's next year. I think in 2 years, that's when you're going to see the impact on him.
No, I agree. So, I mean, if you're asking me, obviously, who I think is going to make a huge impact right off the bat, obviously, Quinyon Mitchell right away. Coop is going to be a big deal. And
special
obviously,
teams, I think he's going to be great on special teams this year.
Yeah. Great. And then I think Hunt and Shipley. I think the Eagles' first 4 picks, I think you're going to see really solid amount from them in 2024. Obviously, we're going to see what happens with training camp, and you got some of the mini camps and the OTAs. You're going to see them more and see how they're going to get integrated into the system. But I am incredibly encouraged after this draft, man. Like I just think they blew us away. It's clear that you even have Micah Parsons pissed off with the Quinyon Mitchell pick, and he wasn't happy that the Eagles were
but
able to
he
get another
also was
stud.
pissed the Eagles took Nolan Smith, and Nolan Smith really didn't do too much. I don't want to
I think
bash
Nolan
guy
Smith
because he's
is
a
pretty
rookie.
good.
He didn't play
Yeah.
that much. I don't want to bash the guy yet because give him a year. Year 3,
He's going to be relied upon this year.
I think he's gonna be a starter possibly.
Yeah, he's gonna have to be.
If he's a better run stopper than Huff, I mean, he's gonna be a starter. Or is it gonna be Brandon?
For sure.
Is it gonna be Brandon Graham Sweat? Do you really want a 36-year-old Brandon Graham starter?
Brandon Graham's not going to be out there that much. Yeah.
Do you really want? He should be playing 40% of snaps like he did last year. He'll probably get 3 to 5 sacks, which is and be the leader on that because he'll be the leader of that team. But we'll see what happens. I mean,
yeah. All right. So thank you, John, for popping on here. This is episode 4 of Gangrene. Obviously, we're gonna, unless something else happens, maybe we'll pop in here after minicamp, the rookie minicamp, to see if there's any updates or anything like that. But
one more thing, you said something the other day, which when you called me on the phone, and it really stuck with me because it's hysterical. It's actually hysterical. How can the Eagles pay 2 wide receivers top dollar and nobody other teams in the league can't pay one of them?
They can't pay one.
Like just one. Like how?
I forgot that even happened for a second.
Like the 3rd highest tackle in football. They made Dickerson the highest paid guard in NFL history. By the way, everybody, what I was trying to say, what I said was AJ Brown got his mega extension, $88 million guaranteed, and somehow the Eagles saved cap space. Like it's unreal. They have $51 million in cap space next year.
Yeah, so I did. I called John right away. I didn't even say hello. He said, "What's going on?" And I said, "How can the Eagles pay the best 1-2 combination in the entire world, but teams like Dallas or the Niners can barely afford one?" Like I don't know how this happens. Like it's unbelievable. But
it's just gonna piss a guy like T. Higgins off even more.
Oh, even more. Yeah, for sure.
Guess what? Chase didn't even get his deal yet. They still didn't even get pay receipt. Like it's gonna piss him off even more.
Yep. Unbelievable.
There's other guys out there that there's other guys that are gonna be.
Well, has Justin Jefferson gotten paid yet?
No, Justin Jefferson will be the last one. He'll be the last one.
Dude,
CD's gonna get 35. Because Amon just got 30.
Yeah, CD might get 40.
Jefferson, he's gonna get whatever and I'm sure he's doing it that way too. I'm sure him and his agent are gonna wait till everybody knows around that time get their contracts, and they're gonna be like, well, I've been the best wide receiver in the NFL for the past, and when I'm healthy, I get 1,700 yards every year.
Yeah, that's gonna be those last 2 contracts. Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb are gonna be ridiculous. Those deals. Well, I mean, we'll see what Dallas does. God only knows what. I don't even know what they're planning. I mean, I don't care, but I don't even know what the hell they're planning for. Like,
CeeDee's a free agent next year, right?
Yeah, correct. And he's not going to go to camp without a deal.
And Dak Prescott's a free agent next year. They don't even draft a running back.
I know.
They have a 5'6" dude as their starting running back right now.
Don't worry. Zeke will be signed by them in a week or 2. 100% guarantee.
Oh yeah, I know. That's why they didn't draft one. But he's going to suck there anyways. They don't have a center. They lost their center. They lost their left tackle.
Correct. It's a perfect situation.
Their linebacker. It's like I think Washington has a chance to be the better team. Actually,
I agree with you.
Only if Daniels, like the hype is like that's true.
Mm-hmm.
They have a very good chance of being the better football team because they made a lot of moves this offseason. They spent a lot of money. They obviously got 2 second-round picks from the Eagles too, so that we helped them out in the draft a little bit too. But they have a chance to possibly. They don't have. Cowboys are still going to be very good, I think, but they have a chance that they could. It's one team you don't want to They always beat the Eagles once a year. They just kick their ass for some reason.
Of course,
down there, it just makes it one of those things.
It's annoying. Yeah. All right. Well, John, thank you so much. We will keep you guys updated on this network and on this channel when we'll be coming back here. We're approaching pretty much the real dead part of the NFL offseason. But look, if anything pops up, anybody signs anything like that, we'll be right back on here for a show. So yeah, just keep it locked here. Again, if you guys follow us with the Phillies, thank you so very much. We just got done doing a show literally an hour ago, so definitely check that out. For our sister station, we're going to be recording 2 shows this week for the Hot Tag Wrestling Show. This week we'll be giving a review on, or I'm sorry, a preview and prediction show for Backlash, which is next Saturday in France. And then we're one of the shows also, I believe Tuesday, will be on here live, and we're going to be doing a live review of Extreme Rules from back in 2015. So keep us locked there. So thank you for this, the constant support you guys keep giving us on all of the shows. We really appreciate it. So for John McElroy, I'm Chris C. Francesco, and we'll catch you guys down the road. Have a great one, everybody. Go Birds.